Hey everyone, welcome back to MangaMinute. I'm thrilled to share my latest recap video with you.
This is a world of heroes wielding swords and magic. At this very moment, this place currently has a massive war taking place due to the Demon Queen launching an all-out war against all the races. With the help of the Demon Queen's oppressive strength, the Demon Queen's army was like a hot knife through butter in their attacks, and the empires of the various races fell to ruin, one after the other. Very quickly, only the human race remained steadfast in their resistance. But alas, because of the internal strife and rebellions amongst the humans, their empire collapsed along with their defenses. Humans was taken down Oswell. And just like that, Elizabeth was dubbed the strongest demon queen in history, as well as secured her position as the only ruler of this world. It's the total domination of the human empire. The demon queen stood tall amidst the wreckage, her eyes glinting with a mixture of triumph and disdain. Elizabeth, don't think you have won with this. In the future, you will definitely be defeated completely by our hero. Just like in the legends, Barrow spat out, his voice laced with bitterness and defiance. Malfoy, once a trusted ally, now turned betrayer, stepped forward with a sneer. Priest Barrow, please get things straight. Right now, Her Majesty isn't asking for your opinion. She's giving you an order, understand? His kick landed squarely on Barrow's side, eliciting a pained grunt. But Barrow, undeterred, continued to rail against him. Bullshit. You're a patricide committing, enemy welcoming, traitor of the human race. I even cultivated you as if you were the prophesied hero in vain. He accused, his voice trembling with a mixture of fury and despair. Enraged by Barrow's accusations, Malfoy's eyes flashed with fury. You're full of nonsense. Since you miss my useless father of mine so much, I'll just let you join him, he growled, raising his hand to strike the defenseless priest. As Malfoy prepared to strike, a calm voice interrupted the brewing confrontation. Hold your hand. As she approached Priest Barrow with a calm demeanor that belied her power. You said that he will stand by your side in the future, and it will end in this queen's defeat, she inquired, her voice carrying a quiet menace. Approaching with an air of authority, the figure continued, Lowly human, you better explain what you mean to this queen or else. This queen has 1,000 different ways to make you suffer a fate worse than death, Elizabeth declared, her eyes flashing with an otherworldly intensity. With a voice quivering with defiance, Barrow continued. The prophecy states that when the prophesied hero pulls out the holy sword, it will be the day the demon race's reign comes to an end. The holy sword is the sword embedded in the stone platform in the main hall. I will never tell you. I will never betray the human race. Elizabeth's eyes narrowed as she approached the legendary sword, her gaze fixated on the ancient weapon. The legends tell of the hero receiving the right to challenge this queen because he pulls out this sword? How interesting, she remarked, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. This queen shall look forward to his arrival here then. And so, with the revelation of the prophecy and the promise of a destined hero, the tale of the strongest demon queen, Elizabeth, began. Year after year unfolded beneath the unwavering rule of Queen Elizabeth. With each passing day, she remained vigilant, her gaze ever fixed on the horizon, awaiting the arrival of her prophesied enemy. The 15th year of Elizabeth's reign. Under the Demon Queen's absolute rule, all the past practices and inequalities amongst the races were all abolished. Everyone was able to get along on equal standing. Without disputes, everyone was able to live in peace and harmony, developing together. Very quickly, Hero's continent began thriving and flourishing. Additionally, because they were afraid of the rare peace being destroyed, an anti-hero alliance emerged. They resolutely rejected the arrival of the prophesied hero. Seated upon her throne in the heart of the demon empire, Elizabeth demanded, So, do you have any news on the prophesied hero? Twilia, the chancellor of the elf race, stepped forward to report. Reporting, Your Majesty. The elf race has already mobilized all the tree insects to search, but they could not find a single piece of information regarding the prophesied hero. Next, Timerdinger, chancellor of the dwarf race, offered his report. Us dwarves are not very good at collecting information, but according to the information compiled from every weapon store around, there has been nobody suspicious. Finally, Aristotle, chancellor of the human race, spoke confidently. I believe that even if that prophesied hero does make his appearance, him standing up against us will be in vain. We need not worry about him at all. In the hushed chambers of the demon empire, Chancellor Jim of the demon race murmured towards Aristotle, Aristotle, you may not know since you just joined, but Her Majesty isn't afraid of the prophesied hero. Instead, she really wants him to come. In order to act in response to that prophecy, Her Majesty gathered all sorts of ancient books on magic and war tactics to research. Mogul, Chancellor of the Beastman race, nodded in agreement, adding, as long as Her Majesty wills it, she could annihilate Hero's continent in a split second. Twilia, joining the conversation with a frustrated tone, exclaimed, it's that idiot Barrow's fault. What prophecy? It's just a load of nonsense. With Her Majesty ruling, it is our fortune. We can just let the prophesied hero die. Suddenly, the High Priest Barrow burst into the chamber, a sign clutched tightly in his hand. Reject the hero! Reject the hero! He shouted, his voice echoing off the walls. Observing Barrow's sudden appearance, Chancellor Timerdinger remarked dryly, speak of Barrow, and he shall appear. High-spirited and defiant, Barrow continued his fervent proclamation. Reject the hero! Reject the hero! Support the reign of Her Majesty, the Demon Queen. Reject the arrival of the hero? With zeal, he declared himself as the president of the Demon Queen fan club and the president of the Anti-Prophesied Hero Association. Upon witnessing Barrow's sudden appearance, Queen Elizabeth swiftly utilized her telekinetic abilities to seize him and pull him towards her throne. With an expression tinged with annoyance, she demanded, explain yourself to this queen. Where is that prophesied hero? Trembling under the queen's intense gaze, Barrow responded, actually, the prophecy doesn't necessarily have to be true. When the target exceeds the expectations of the prophecy, like Your Majesty, for example. Adding his support, Malfoy stepped forward and asserted, that's right. It is a great offense to take that stupid prophecy and apply it to Her Majesty. It is too great an offense. Her Majesty need not take offense in the slightest. This official has had new findings recently. Enraged by their response, the Queen's patience wore thin as she commanded, get lost. Acknowledging the Queen's order, Malfoy replied, understood. As the tense atmosphere in the chamber simmered with unresolved tensions. Hearing the defiant response from her advisors, the Queen's rage reached its pinnacle. With a furious shout, she lashed out, a bunch of trash! Slamming Barrow forcefully into the wall, she vented her frustration at the situation. Approaching the legendary sword with determination etched into her features, she murmured, I, the Queen, have reached the peak of the world, holding the power of the world. I wait for the legendary hero to challenge me, and then become his stepping stone to fame. I have studied all the ancient magic books of the hero continent, and after countless hardships, I created the doomsday magic to wait for your challenge. But you are nowhere to be seen. Where are you? With a fierce resolve, she continued, well, since you aren't coming to me, then I'll come to you. Gripping the sword tightly, she attempted to pull it from its stubborn place. Witnessing the Queen's actions, the chancellors were filled with alarm. Your Majesty, you don't mean to. No, Your Majesty, they exclaimed, their voices filled with concern and trepidation as they realized the gravity of the Queen's intentions. With every ounce of her formidable power, the Queen exerted herself, channeling her immense strength into the task at hand. The force of her efforts swept aside anyone and anything in her vicinity, leaving a trail of chaos in her wake. Witnessing the raw power unleashed by their sovereign, Twilia could hardly believe her eyes. No way! The Demon Queen is really going to pull out the holy sword? She exclaimed, struggling to maintain her footing against the overwhelming force. Despite the resistance and the immense strain, the Queen persisted. And finally, with a triumphant surge of power, she succeeded. The legendary sword yielded to her will, drawn forth from its resting place by her unwavering determination. With the legendary sword now firmly in her grasp, the Queen's laughter echoed through the chamber. Ha ha! Who said that only the legendary hero can pull it out? She exclaimed triumphantly, reveling in her display of power. Her gaze unfocused momentarily as she tapped into her mystical abilities, searching for the whereabouts of the hero. With a knowing smirk, she declared, Yo! So you're hiding in that place. As she swiftly enchanting a teleportation spell. Witnessing the Queen's departure, Malfoy's heart sank with a mixture of admiration and concern. Demon Queen, please, let me continue to serve you by your side. He pleaded, but his words fell on deaf ears as the Queen had already vanished. Left alone in the chamber, Malfoy could only whisper, My master, Elizabeth, as he gazed upon the empty space where she once stood. Meanwhile, in Newbie village, Luping wiped the beads of sweat from his brow, a contented smile playing on his lips. Farming, it's so peaceful, he remarked to himself. In reality, Luping was just an ordinary office worker, leading a mundane life devoid of excitement. He wasn't particularly fond of playing games or watching anime. His only source of pleasure was watching his favorite short videos on his phone. However, one day, As he was on his way to work and watching a video, he suddenly found himself transported into a strange and unfamiliar world. Under the guidance of the Newbie system, he slowly learned the basic survival skills necessary to navigate this new environment. Although he knew nothing about this different world, it didn't seem to matter to him. After all, wasn't this the kind of pastoral life he had always yearned for? He felt a sense of peace and fulfillment he had never experienced before, and his body felt healthier than ever compared to his days spent in the office. Luping settled into life in the Newbie village, content to learn under the guidance of the system. However, when the system revealed his fate as the legendary hero destined to defeat the Demon Queen, Luping adamantly refused. He had no desire for adventure or glory. All he wanted was to live peacefully as a normal villager in the Newbie village. Despite the system's persistent urging for him to leave the Newbie village and embark on an adventure, Luping remained resolute. To hell with the Demon Queen, he thought to himself. I just want to live like this forever. Within the safety of the time barrier that concealed the Newbie village, Luping found solace. Time flowed differently inside the barrier, affording him ample opportunity to pursue his interests. He dedicated his days to activities he enjoyed, such as forging, farming, hunting, and meditation. Though he remained ignorant of swords and magic, Luping found fulfillment in the simplicity of his life. Through completing Newbie tasks and exchanging points, he slowly built his ideal pastoral home from scratch, content in his humble abode. Yet one fateful day disaster struck. The system suddenly crashed, leaving Luping alone and bewildered. And just like that, it disappeared without a trace, leaving him to ponder the uncertain future that lay ahead. As Luping toiled away in his farming field, he wiped the sweat from his brow and remarked to himself, "Nice busy day. It makes me hungry, the firewood seems to be running low. I'll prepare some first. All right? I forgot to bring my axe back from the woods when I went out to chop wood in the morning." Unbeknownst to him, the sky darkened, and ominous clouds gathered, signaling the arrival of the Demon Queen. Mistaking the phenomenon for an impending rainstorm, Luping quickly exclaimed, "Ah, no way at this time. It's going to rain heavily all of a sudden? My clothes and dried fish." With a sense of urgency, he hurriedly made his way towards his humble house. The Demon Queen arrived, her presence casting a shadow over the peaceful surroundings. With determination in her eyes, she proclaimed, "I found you, the legendary hero." As Luping hastily gathered up his clothes and dried fish, relief washed over him. "Phew, luckily I made it in time. Otherwise, my dried fish and sausages would have gone bad." He muttered to himself, grateful for his timely actions. His electronic dog pet, Wonkai, came bounding over, barking excitedly. "Wonkai, stop it. It's about to rain. Hurry back inside," Luping instructed, ushering his loyal companion indoors to safety. Suddenly, a voice cut through the air, causing Luping to look up in surprise. "Hey!" called the Demon Queen, her figure floating ominously in the sky above. Perplexed, Luping turned to Wonkai and exclaimed, "Hey Wonkai, what's that thing in the sky?" Furious at being referred to as a mere thing, the Demon Queen's voice rang out sharply. "You're quite dull. How dare you address me as something?" she retorted, her irritation palpable. Quick to apologize, Luping hurriedly responded, No, sorry, I didn't see it clearly earlier." Yet inwardly, he couldn't shake off his confusion. Why did someone suddenly ask to join? Isn't the Newbie village supposed to be completely safe? The Demon Queen's eyes narrowed with determination as she prepared to verify her suspicions. With a swift motion, she unleashed a spell aimed directly at Luping, who stood below her, bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Panicked, Luping cried out, "Wait, what are you talking about?" His hand instinctively moved to shield his eyes, bracing for the impending attack. To his astonishment, however, the legendary sword suddenly flew into his hand, leaving him utterly perplexed. "What's going on? Something suddenly flew into my hand," he exclaimed, his voice tinged with confusion. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, observing the scene, couldn't help but wonder. But its magic sensing ability is so low that even ordinary soldiers are stronger than him. Could it be hiding its true power? Determined to proceed with her plan, Elizabeth declared with unwavering resolve, "I am Elizabeth, the strongest Demon Queen in history, and today, I shall completely obliterate you." Her words echoed through the air, signaling the beginning of a confrontation that would test both her power and Luping's newfound destiny. Hearing the ominous title bestowed upon his unexpected adversary, Luping's bewilderment only grew. "Demon Queen? Why is she here? I haven't left this place," he exclaimed, his voice tinged with disbelief, while his pet continued to bark incessantly at the looming figure in the sky. Growing increasingly agitated, Lu Ping shouted at his pet, "Shut up, stupid dog. Don't provoke her." Meanwhile, as Elizabeth prepared to unleash a stronger magic, Lu Ping's thoughts turned inward. "I understand," he murmured to himself, recalling the words of the system. "The meeting between the hero and the demon queen is inevitable, even if I never left the Newbie village. Then there's nothing more to say." With a resigned sigh, he released his grip on the legendary sword. Turning his back to the impending danger, Lu Ping began to walk towards his home, steeling himself for what he believed to be his final moments. "Perhaps I should be content," he mused quietly. "So far, I've been a newbie noob, but the final boss has come knocking. So besides accepting my fate, what else can I do?" Lu Ping approached his humble abode. His heart remained surprisingly calm. "I have no regrets," he declared softly, his voice filled with a sense of acceptance. "Knowing I could spend such happy times here. In the end, let me return to zero with this home." With that, he embraced the inevitability of his fate, ready to face whatever destiny had in store for him. On the other hand, Elizabeth misunderstood the situation. Her frustration boiled over. "Wait, what did that guy mean when he smiled at me just now?" she muttered, interpreting Lu Ping's expression as mockery. Incensed by what she perceived as arrogance, she seethed, "Unbelievable! Arrogant bastard! Now die!" With swift determination, Elizabeth launched her attack towards Lu Ping's house, intent on unleashing her fury upon him. But just as her magic began to descend upon its target, a sudden transformation occurred. Lu Ping's electronic pet, Wang Chai, switched into battle mode in an instant. It brought forth an arsenal of modern weapons, including machine guns and rockets, ready to confront Elizabeth's impending assault. The electronic dog swiftly neutralized all of Elizabeth's attacks, surprising even the formidable demon queen herself. "Oh my!" As expected, the hero from the legend dares to be so arrogant. "It turns out you rely on having an advanced magical tool with awakened sentience? But in front of me, everything is inferior," she declared, her voice dripping with disdain. Undeterred by the dog's defense, Elizabeth prepared another magic attack, her resolve unshaken. "I've lost interest in probing you any further. Let's end it here," she proclaimed, readying herself for the final confrontation. Yet, before she could unleash her devastating magic, the dog launched a powerful black beam shot towards Elizabeth. Seeing the incoming attack, she scoffed, "It's useless," as she launched her own magic in retaliation, commanding, "Disappear obediently along with this land." To her disbelief, however, her magic attack was once again neutralized, leaving Elizabeth stunned. "My apocalyptic magic has been cracked," she exclaimed in disbelief. She was mistaking Lu Ping for the source of this unexpected turn of events. Elizabeth pondered furiously. What did he do inside the house? Inside his humble abode, lying upon his bed, Lu Ping declared quietly, "Come at me, I'm prepared," steeling himself for the final confrontation. Meanwhile, outside, Elizabeth landed gracefully on the ground, her demeanor tinged with a mix of astonishment and rage. Unexpectedly, in the end, "It's me who was underestimated," she muttered to herself, her voice laced with frustration. Her anger flaring, Elizabeth's resolve hardened even further. "But don't get too conceited. So far, I've only used less than 30% of my power. You impudent scoundrel, let me show you what real terror is," she exclaimed, her words dripping with venom as she prepared to unleash her true strength. With a surge of energy, Elizabeth underwent a stunning transformation, her form shifting into one of even greater power and ferocity. As her aura intensified, a sense of dread filled the air, signaling the beginning of a final deciding battle. As an hour passed, Lu Ping slowly opened his eyes, his senses returning to him. Have I already died?" he wondered aloud, scanning his surroundings with confusion. Aren't I still at home? It seems quiet outside. But what about that demon queen? She wouldn't be waiting for me out there like a maniac, right?" Summoning his courage, Lu Ping ventured outside his house, cautiously opening the door. To his horror, he discovered his beloved pet, Wang Kai, gripped tightly in the clutches of the demon queen. Shocked and distraught, Lu Ping cried out, "Wang Kai!" Seeing Lu Ping emerge from his home, Elizabeth swiftly tossed the dog to the ground. "I'm truly sorry. I completely destroyed the magical tool you were so proud of." Trembling in fear at the sight of the incoming demon queen, Lu Ping pleaded, "It's okay. Can't we sit down and talk?" Elizabeth's response was swift and merciless. "Sure, after I kill you." Yet, even as she approached, her mind was filled with disbelief. "This is unbelievable. To push me to my limits, Is this the ending that was foretold for me? But before she could make a move towards him, she suddenly stumbled and fell to the ground, unconscious. Concerned for her well-being, Lu Ping rushed to Elizabeth's side, his fear momentarily forgotten. "Hey, you!" he called out, gently embracing her as he checked for any signs of injury. "Hey, are you okay?" As Lu Ping held her, Elizabeth began to undergo a transformation, her features shifting from her demonic form to that of a human. Her horn and wings slowly receded, returning her to her natural state. Panicked by the unexpected turn of events, Lu Ping stared in disbelief as Elizabeth's clothing began to vanish, leaving her naked body exposed before him. Overwhelmed by the sight, his blood pressure skyrocketed, and a fountain of blood erupted from his nose in a comical display of shock and embarrassment. Elizabeth's eyes snapped open, her mind racing as she processed the humiliating turn of events. The Demon Queen suffered a humiliating defeat. Instead of taking the opportunity to kill me, he imprisoned me. Did he do it to show his power to the world? She mused, her thoughts swirling with frustration. Determined to break free from her restraints, Elizabeth summoned her power and attempted to break the handcuffs that bound her wrists. However, despite her efforts, she found herself unable to escape their grip. Another legendary class artifact I've never seen. Damn it. How much power is he still hiding? She muttered bitterly. As she surveyed her surroundings, Elizabeth's sharp mind analyzed the situation. She exclaimed, "These strange artifacts are definitely not simple. It seems this hero is much more wicked than I imagined. I underestimated him." "Huh, you're awake?" Lu Ping's voice broke the silence as he entered the room, carrying food for Elizabeth. "If you want to kill me, don't expect me to beg for mercy," Elizabeth declared defiantly, her gaze unwavering. Hearing her words, Lu Ping's mind raced with apprehension. The Demon Queen is truly frightening, but this is my only chance to survive. I must seize it, he thought to himself, steeling his resolve. Can we talk instead?" Lu Ping ventured, his voice tinged with uncertainty as he approached Elizabeth. "By the way, the handcuffs, I just used them as a precaution. You know how terrifying you are." Lu Ping quickly amended, realizing his slip. No. You know how formidable you are. I believe there must be a misunderstanding between us. I'll unlock the handcuffs for you now, and we can talk." Then, once again, Elizabeth misunderstood his intention, and took Lu Ping's words as a threat. "Sorry, from the beginning you've had a misunderstanding. You thought you were formidable enough to challenge the hero? Absolutely wrong. If you want to stay alive, then fulfill my demands." As Lu Ping unlocked the handcuffs, he sought to prove his sincerity. "Well, I've unlocked the handcuffs to prove that I really have no ill intentions. So, as promised, let's talk," he urged, hoping to initiate a dialogue with Elizabeth. However, Elizabeth remained silent, her thoughts consumed by the unfavorable situation she found herself in. "Humph. The current situation is very unfavorable for me. Strong individuals know when to bend and when to stretch. I'll endure you for now, but you'll regret your arrogance later," she thought to herself, her resolve unbroken despite the setback. Feeling the weight of Elizabeth's silence, Lu Ping grew increasingly uncertain. Then, "Take a rest for now," he suggested tentatively, mistaking her lack of response for a rejection of his attempt to engage in conversation. Lu Ping diverted his attention to his broken electronic pet and exclaimed, "Wang Kai, you've become such a mess." Observing the damaged device, Elizabeth couldn't help but express her skepticism. "What? Is this thing your most powerful magic tool?" Lu Ping's mind raced as he tried to formulate a response. "What magic tool? It's just a little thing I made while living here, out of boredom," he reflected inwardly before quickly replying, You could say that Wang Kai was developed by me just recently." Trying to downplay the significance of his creation, Lu Ping hoped to maintain the facade of simplicity in front of the formidable Demon Queen. Hearing Lu Ping's response, Elizabeth quickly formulated her plan. "This time, it's your turn to be careless. After unlocking the handcuffs, I can secretly use my infinite magic to recover quickly. And you, losing the protection of your most powerful magic tool is like losing your right arm. The balance of power has tilted towards me," she declared, her eyes alight with anticipation as she prepared to strike at the defenseless Lu Ping. "I'm sorry for breaking your things," she added, feigning remorse to mask her true intentions. Unaware of Elizabeth's deceitful scheme, Lu Ping casually replied, "It's okay. The memory card is still here." With a grim expression, Elizabeth resolved to seize this opportunity to eliminate her adversary once and for all. "At this moment, this is the best chance to eliminate you, the legendary hero," she thought to herself, her determination unwavering as she readied her magic spell. Meanwhile, Lu Ping remained oblivious to Elizabeth's true intentions as he continued. As for the body, it can't be repaired. Opening a wooden vault, he revealed numerous spare parts for his electric pet. But I made a lot of preparations here, so you don't need to worry. Lu Ping inserted a memory card into the newly activated electric pet and quickly powered it on. It's fun to have a companion, but sometimes it's naughty, so I usually only activate one at home, he explained with a chuckle, enjoying the familiarity of having his electronic companion by his side. Observing the powerful electric pet being reactivated, Elizabeth urgently cancelled her plan. With a disbelieving expression, she exclaimed, "No way. There's no way." Realizing that Lu Ping had once again outmaneuvered her, becoming an undefeated enemy she couldn't confront at her leisure. Her fear momentarily diverted by the unfamiliar scent in the air. Elizabeth sniffed around and exclaimed, "What's that smell?" Lu Ping responded nonchalantly, "Oh, I saw you faint, so I made some food to warm you up." With an arrogant expression, Elizabeth retorted, "Only the weak need to eat. I have reached a transcendent state and don't need these things." Dismissing Lu Ping's gesture with a sense of superiority. Despite Elizabeth's denial, her nose couldn't reject the tempting aromas wafting through the air. Observing the change in Elizabeth's demeanor, Lu Ping seized the opportunity and eagerly exclaimed, "These are all made from vegetables and grains I grew myself, completely natural. Please have a taste." He offered her a selection of the homemade dishes, hoping to appeal to her senses and perhaps soften her disposition. Unable to resist the enticing aroma any longer, Elizabeth succumbed to temptation and took a bite of the dumpling. With a worried expression, Lu Ping pondered, "Although I'm confident in my cooking, will the demon queen, with her status, appreciate these newbie village things?" As the dumpling burst with flavor in her mouth, Elizabeth's senses were overwhelmed by the explosion of taste and magical energy. With each bite, the meat juices burst like fireworks in my mouth, a natural and unadorned flavor. It also contains a high concentration of magical energy. This world actually has such a delicacy. Ah, it's so delicious that I, the demon queen, can't bear to swallow this last bite, she marveled, savoring each mouthful as she quickly devoured the dumplings. However, as she swallowed the last dumpling, Elizabeth's cheeks flushed with heat, and she suddenly felt a fiery sensation spreading through her mouth. "Aya, it's spicy. So spicy," she exclaimed, unable to contain the burning sensation that overwhelmed her senses. Struggling to cope with the unexpected heat, Elizabeth demanded, "What did you add to the food?" Trembling at her reaction, Lu Ping responded nervously, "Oh, I added a bit of chili according to my own taste. Does the demon queen not handle spicy food?" Hearing his explanation, Elizabeth's suspicions deepened. As expected, there were no good intentions. This evil hero has imprisoned me just to use me for research experiments. As Lu Ping realized his oversight, he quickly exclaimed, "Ah, there it is," and presented another dish alongside the dumplings. "Century egg and lean pork congee, clears heat and reduces fire," he announced, hoping to alleviate the spiciness Elizabeth experienced. Trying to compose herself, Elizabeth couldn't shake off the feeling of being manipulated. Feeding poison on one hand and providing the antidote on the other, playing with me in the palm of his hand. There's no way around it. This strange feeling is too uncomfortable. But Elizabeth succumbed to temptation and took a spoonful of the congee, allowing the savory flavors to wash over her senses. As the flavorful congee touched her tongue, Elizabeth felt a sense of tranquility wash over her, as if she were being lifted into the sky by ethereal sensations. Enjoying the moment of peace, she reflected, "Ah, what a peaceful feeling. So comfortable." The quest for world domination, the struggle between the demon queen and the hero, all of these disturbances no longer concern me. Letting go of everything, living carefree. But it's because of this that I've discovered how truly insignificant I am. Empowered by the delicacies, Elizabeth experienced a breakthrough into a higher realm, her power surging to new heights. Shocked by this sudden advancement, she pondered, "Surprisingly, by consuming food, I was brought into a new realm. Under the influence of two extreme stimuli, my power has once again advanced." Suspicious of Lu Ping's intentions, Elizabeth confronted him directly. "Stop pretending. Tell me, what do you want?" she demanded, her gaze piercing. With an awkward expression, Lu Ping attempted to explain himself. "So, what are you thinking?" "I just want us to research how a demon queen and a hero can coexist," he replied nervously. Hearing his response, Elizabeth's suspicions only deepened. "He finally revealed his true intentions," she concluded, once again misunderstanding Lu Ping's true motives. In Elizabeth's imagination, Lu Ping's words took on a different meaning. In this world, you're the only one qualified to be the subject of my research as the hero. Come, let me help you become stronger, and then defeat me, she imagined him saying, further fueling her distrust and apprehension. Lu Ping's voice trembled as he continued, "Is that okay? I'll continue making delicious food to serve you." Hearing his offer, Elizabeth's mind raced with suspicion. A knight may be killed but not shamed. I'm the demon queen, she thought to herself, interpreting Lu Ping's words as a veiled challenge. In her imagination, Lu Ping's innocent offer transformed into a sly invitation. Ha ha ha. If you want to become stronger, I can help you. I'm also looking forward to whether you can defeat me, she envisioned him saying, deepening her wariness. Sighing, Elizabeth dismissed her suspicions for the moment. Never mind, forget it, she declared as she rose to her feet. Listen to me. I can agree with your conditions, but know this. I'm doing this not out of fear but to pursue the pinnacle of strength. Hearing her declaration, Lu Ping couldn't help but ponder. Fear me? Fear me for what? But you're the demon queen. You hold the power. You can do as you wish. With a resolute expression, Elizabeth pressed on. Furthermore, don't think that I'll lower my head and be submissive while living here. My dignity as the demon queen must never be violated. Otherwise, even if I have to sacrifice everything, I'll destroy you. Lu Ping quickly responded, Understood, I understood. Then, let's try to get along. Hearing his compliance, Elizabeth narrowed her eyes and said firmly, If you want to research, feel free to come over. And if there's anything delicious, I want it all. She made her expectations clear. Lu Ping, eager to please, replied with a resolute, Roger. Understood. It's been a year since Elizabeth came into Lu Ping's house. As Lu Ping continued chopping wood, his mind raced with concerns about the situation. What should I do? Things have gotten complicated. Ever since the demon queen forcibly entered and broke the protective barrier of the Newbie village, time here has gradually synchronized with the outside world. He reflected, the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. Time synchronization isn't the issue, but what's disastrous is that without the barrier's protection, the Newbie village has lost its concealment function and is completely exposed in the wilderness. He realized, his worry for the future growing. And the monsters appearing nearby don't seem to be so simple. But because of the demon queen's presence here, they don't dare to approach. Does this mean that once the demon queen leaves? Lu Ping couldn't finish his thoughts as someone interrupted him with a shout. Suddenly, his contemplation was interrupted by a familiar voice. Lu Ping, it's lunchtime. Why isn't it ready yet? Elizabeth called out, reminding him of her appetite. Startled by the sudden interruption, Lu Ping replied hastily, Yes, I'm coming right away. Laying on the sofa and flipping through the channels, Elizabeth voiced her boredom. I'm tired of watching these recordings of yours. Can't you get something new from that system of yours? She complained, munching on potato chips. Lu Ping, busy in the kitchen preparing lunch, responded without looking back. The system has long disappeared. Come on, I've prepared lunch, he called out. As lunch was served, Elizabeth couldn't help but comment on the chips. What kind of poison is in these chips you're feeding me? I feel like the more I eat, the lazier I become, she accused Lu Ping. Suspicious of Lu Ping's intentions, Elizabeth pondered. Using the guise of delicious food to paralyze me with these slow-acting poisons, trying to lead me to total depravity? Lu Ping, ever the practical one, casually replied, These chips are high in calories. Eating too many can easily accumulate fat, and people naturally become. Before Lu Ping could finish his words, Elizabeth quickly interjected, Fat? She pinched the soft flesh on her belly, realizing she had gained weight. In an instant, she enchanted a spell and transformed her body into her ideal shape. With a proud expression, Elizabeth declared, I'm sorry, but all the fat that accumulated in my body has been converted into magic power. With a smirk, she continued, Hee hee, another trick foiled by me. How do you feel? Very disappointed, right? Lu Ping, amused by her antics, responded, Ha ha. Whatever you say is right. Let's eat. As Elizabeth dug into her lunch, she exclaimed, Today's lunch suits my taste perfectly. I won't hold back, quickly devouring her meal. Observing her voracious appetite, Lu Ping intervened, Hey, eat slowly. If it's not enough, I can make more. It doesn't matter if you eat more. Elizabeth paused, pondering his words. In her imagination, she misunderstood Lu Ping's intentions as, "You're still too weak. Fatten up before I kill you." Standing from his seat, Lu Ping remarked, "And for dessert, I'll go get it for you." Lu Ping's innocent gesture triggered a surge of fury within Elizabeth. "That's enough. Are you really treating me like a pig?" She fumed internally. Over the past year, she believed she had grown in strength, breaking through more than 10 times. She was convinced she now had the ability to challenge Lu Ping. "Let's have a decisive battle," she resolved, her determination solidifying. Meanwhile, Lu Ping, unaware of Elizabeth's inner turmoil, opened the refrigerator and cheerfully exclaimed, "It's Elizabeth's favorite pudding," as he presented the dessert. Seeing her favorite dessert, Elizabeth quickly forgot her rage and eagerly exclaimed, "Great! Give it to me now." Observing Elizabeth's quick shift in mood, Lu Ping inwardly reflected, "Fortunately, this demon queen isn't that difficult to deal with. Having the right food can calm her down easily." Meanwhile, outside the Newbie village, someone was desperately running as he and her daughter were being chased by a group of assassins. The couple was eagerly running for their life, but the assassin launched a technique and quickly confined and immobilized the couple. With determination blazing in his eyes, Bruce, the father, exclaimed, "Evil, I will hold them back. You keep going towards the town, it'll be safe there." He pointed his sword towards the enemies, ready to face them. Tears welled in Evil's eyes as she insisted, "No, I can't leave you behind and escape by myself." Her father's resolve was unwavering as he replied, "Listen, I promised your mother that I would protect you no matter what." The memory of his vow to his wife fueled his determination. Meanwhile, the Dark Guild's apostles readied their spells, preparing to unleash their magic at any moment. Bruce knew he had to act quickly. He thought to himself, "I must finish this quickly. I'm going to use my strongest move." With a fierce determination, he launched his attack towards the enemy, ready to defend his daughter and fulfill his promise to his beloved wife. Bruce's attack struck true, taking down one of the enemies, but there were still many more to contend with. Despite the danger, Evil refused to leave her father's side. With determination in her eyes, Evil shouted, "No matter what, I won't leave you, father." She summoned her magical arrow and swiftly launched it towards another enemy, determined to help her father in any way she could. Bruce's heart swelled with pride at his daughter's bravery, but he knew the danger they faced. He urged her, "You can't handle the Dark Guild's apostles. I don't know how long I can hold them back. Hurry, go." However, before Evil could react, one of the apostles launched a vicious attack, sending Bruce flying and crashing into a large boulder. Despite his injuries, Bruce remarked, "Don't worry about me. Now go, quickly," urging her to escape while she still had the chance. In a desperate bid to save her father's life, Evil pleaded, "I'll go back with you. Please spare my father," in hope to save her father's life. However, the apostle seemed unmoved by her pleas, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. Before disaster could strike, a giant mammoth suddenly appeared, crushing the apostle with its massive foot. Perched atop the mammoth was an immortal frog, who observed the scene with a calm demeanor. Addressing his companion, the immortal frog remarked, "Big brother, the danger has been cleared. How should we deal with these two harmless humans?" The big brother, revealed to be none other than Wang Kai, Li Peng's electric dog pet, responded, "Do not harm harmless humans. I will take them back for the master to deal with." Awakened by a surge of adrenaline, Evil's eyes snapped open as she shouted, "Monster!" Taking in her unfamiliar surroundings, she questioned, "Where is this strange place? And where is Dad?" Her thoughts raced to her injured father, and she worried, "That's right, Dad was seriously injured. If he doesn't get treatment in time." Evil sprang out of bed and dashed towards the nearby door, her mind consumed with concern for her father. However, to her surprise, when she found her father, he appeared healthy and strong, as if nothing had happened. Observing Bruce's impressive physique, Lu Ping remarked, "Wow, Uncle must have spent a lot of time training to look like this." Bruce nodded in affirmation, stating, "As a warrior, physical fitness is fundamental." Curious, Lu Ping asked, "Is this the warrior profession of another world? It's so amazing." Meanwhile, in the yard, Elizabeth couldn't contain her annoyance. Who told you to bring this riffraff back, you stupid dog? She exclaimed, venting her frustration as she kicked the electric pet. Amused by Bruce's muscular physique, Leping couldn't help but express his admiration. Wow, wow, wow. So sturdy, so sturdy, he exclaimed as he reached out to touch Bruce's exerted muscle. Bruce took the compliment in stride. Well, since Mr. Leping likes it, I won't hide it either, he declared proudly, striking a pose reminiscent of a bodybuilding contest. However, Evil's interruption broke the moment. Dad, what are you doing? She inquired, clearly confused by her father's sudden display, caught off guard and slightly embarrassed by his pose. Evil? You finally woke up? He responded, hoping to deflect attention from his awkward situation. Trying to diffuse the tension, Leping attempted to explain the situation. It's like this, he began. But before he could finish, Elizabeth cut in with a threatening expression. Now that you're awake, get out. I'm warning you, I came first, she declared firmly. Undeterred, Leping tried to ease the atmosphere by gently tapping Elizabeth's shoulder. It's rare to have guests, so let's go inside and talk, he suggested, hoping to extend an olive branch. Once inside, Leping offered them some barley tea he had made himself. I'm really sorry, I don't have anything good to offer you two in this rural place. Please have some, he said hospitably as he took a seat on the sofa. Observed the served tea, Evil exclaimed, Dad, is this the miraculous potion you talked about? The one that would heal immediately after drinking? Leping chuckled at Evil's comment. Not quite a miraculous potion, just some tea I brewed myself, he clarified with a grin. Elizabeth's thoughts, however, took a more cynical turn. She couldn't shake the feeling that Leping might have ulterior motives. Bringing these two weak humans back. What kind of evil experiment does Leping want to do? She mused inwardly, feeling a twinge of irritation. Damn it, are you saying that I can't satisfy you? She muttered to herself as she sipped her lemonade. Recalling the event they experienced, Bruce exclaimed, Although I was already unconscious at that time, I vaguely remember. If it weren't for, have Mr. Leping's help, I'm afraid I would never seen you again, my daughter. Leping chuckled at Bruce and Evil's reaction, responding, You adventurers speak so nicely, there's really no need to be polite, ha ha ha. He scratched the back of his head awkwardly, not accustomed to such formality. Bruce, appreciative of Leping's hospitality, thanked him sincerely. Then, thank you, Mr. Leping, he said with genuine gratitude. As they took a sip of the tea, their eyes widened in shock at the taste. It was as if they were experiencing an otherworldly sensation. The flavor was exquisite, and they felt a surge of energy coursing through them, propelling them into a stronger realm. Overwhelmed by the unexpected development, Bruce and Evil exchanged astonished glances. Bruce exclaimed, Evil, our magic levels have all directly broken through and advanced. Evil, equally amazed, replied, Yes, even Mother's elf bloodline has awakened, and I've grown ears. Leping, unaware of the true effects of the tea, misunderstood their reluctance to have more as a sign of politeness. He insisted, Come on, let me pour you another cup. But Bruce, feeling overwhelmed by the otherworldly power of the tea, humbly rejected the offer. That's enough, really, Mr. Leping, that's enough, he said, his mind reeling from the sudden surge in strength. Inwardly, he thought, Mr. Leping is a really nice person, but we can't stand this kind of heavenly torment more than this.